Good morning mga kaibigan. Ito po si Nico Fabian. Nandito naman po sa programa natin Nick The Real Talk with Nico. Medyo maaga tayo ngayon. Today is March 2nd na po. Medyo maaga tayo ngayon na dahil po I just want to pass the message to each and every one of you. Ang mga Filipinos, all the Filipinos who are residing and legally working in Malaysia, be it in West Malaysia or in East Malaysia, comprises of two states, Sabah and Sarawak. Presently, I'm here in Kuala Lumpur, and my base actually is in Kota Kinabalu or Sabah, is Malaysia. But anyway, the reason why I decided to come up with an early programming, it is because I just want to inform na malungkot tayo po ngayon, no? Malungkot tayo po ngayon dahil konfirmado na po, confirmed that the first Filipino casualty in the war between USA, Israel, and Iran. Meron na po isa namatay. Konfirmado na po. And it is a female Filipina at the age of, her age is 32 years old po. Later on, I'm going to share with you po itong mga video clips sa anong mga latest developments tungkol dyan po sa gera, no? Sa gera sa Iran between America, Israel, and Iran. Because of that war, because of that attack last Saturday po, magulo ngayon ang Middle East. Ang Middle East po. And one of the biggest casualties and mission accomplished po is the neutralization of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, no? Ng ang supreme leader of Iran naman tayo po, together with other top officials ng supreme leader ng Iran. Anyway, nandito po to start with, let me share with you po, no? Let me share with you po ang mga mensahe ng ating mga opisyalis sa Pilipinas, especially ang presidente natin, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, at the same time ang Vice President and other officials po. So I have this news report that I want to share with you now regarding the death, the first casualty, Filipina casualty po as a result of the war in Iran. And the news article, ang heading niya po is 32-year-old Filipina dies in missile attack on Israel. Nandito po ang mga detalles ng balita. A Filipina caregiver in Israel has been confirmed to be the first casualty in the ongoing conflict between US, Israel, and Iran. The first casualty ito po, no? The first casualty. In a statement, the Philippine Embassy in Israel has announced the death of overseas Filipino worker during a missile attack in Tel Aviv. Nangyari ito po sa Tel Aviv. The victim, Mary Ann V. De Vera, was a 32-year-old caregiver from Basista, Pangasinan, who had been working in Israel since 2019. Ang pangalan niya po ng biktima is Mary Ann V. De Vera, 32 years old ito po, caregiver from Basista, Pangasinan, who had been working in Israel since 2019. Her identity was confirmed through biometric records at the Abu Kabir Forensic Institute, where her husband, who has worked in Israel, positively identified her remains. The Philippine embassy in Israel said. Ambassador Erlin Mendiola has reached out to the victim's husband to convey the government condolences and has assured to provide full assistance. The embassy joins the entire Filipino community in the Holy Land in praying for the repose of her soul and for comfort and strength for her family during this time of grief, added the embassy. Yon po, no? Yon ang biktima natin, first victim, Filipino victim po sa gera. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos has posted a video on social media to reassure that the authorities continue to monitor the state of Filipinos in the Middle East. She was a caregiver in Israel who was helping bring her employer to a bomb shelter. However, they were not able to reach the place in time. She died because she was hit by a shrapnel from falling bombs, said Marcos in a Filipino. No? On the way na sila po, together ang pasyente niya po para sa bomb shelter, pero hindi na sila naabot doon dahil tinamaan siya ng shrapnel ng bomb. No? Filipinos across the Gulf have been reminded to keep calm, remain indoors, and stay updated for instructions and safety guidelines from reliable sources such as local authorities and official media arms. And ano po ito po? Yan po ang latest updates natin. And this time around, I will share with you po the video message of our president, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. regarding the confirmation of the first Filipina casualty po dyan po sa conflict between America, Israel, and Iran. Nandito po, let me share with you the video clip, message of our president, si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. So let's watch and listen to this video clip.
Magandang gabi, bayan. Ay kanalulungkot ko na meron po tayo natanggap na report na meron na pong casualty na Pilipino dito po sa gera na nangyayari sa Middle East. Ang report po sa atin ay namatay po ang isang Mary Ann Velasquez Rivera na tigang Pangasinan. Siya po ay isang caregiver sa Israel na tinutulungan ang kanyang alaga para dalhin sa bomb shelter. Ngunit hindi na po nakaabot sa bomb shelter at inabutan na sila bago sila nakarating. Siya ay namatay dahil tinamaan ng shrapnel ng mga bumagsak na bomba. Na-identify na po siya ng kanyang asawa na isang OFW din na nagtatrabaho sa Israel. Lahat po ng tulong na kakailanganin ng kanilang pamilya ay ihahatid ng ating pamahalaan. Patuloy po ang ating pag-monitor sa kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan na nasa gitna nitong gera ay patuloy pa rin sa Middle East. Saan po ninyo pagka meron tayo may i-report ko po sa inyo.
Alright, yan po ang video message ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Malungkot tayo po. Condolence to the immediate family of the victim. Galing po sa akin dito po sa Niktok The Real Talk with Nico. At the same time, of course, from my family and the entire Filipino community po dito sa Malaysia, particularly sa Sabah is Malaysia po, very specific sa Kota Kinabalu. That was the first casualty, fatal casualty reported po, no? Sa ongoing war between America, Israel, and Iran po. And still, the bombing dyan both in Iran and in Israel and other US bases in the Middle East po is still continuing po, no? Still continuing. And let's hope this war, no, which US declared last Saturday, and dahil dyan po namatay ang Iran Supreme leader nila, si Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, no? Khamenei po, and other top officials. There was mixed reactions between Iranians po, no? Yung nagsusupport kay ang supreme leader nila po, and those who are against ang supreme leader and fighting for hoping to have a democratic form of leadership po dyan po sa Iran for donkey years already po. So mga misreaction. Later on, I'm going to share with you po ang some video clips that I have prepared. And of course, I prepared also a video clip po. There was an interview made by Ted Filon during this program today. Dyan po sa Ted Filon. A program nila from 6 a.m. hanggang 10 a.m. po kanina, and still the program is still ongoing. And I will share with you po ang interview na si Ted Filon sa natin po sa kaya Yusek Patricia Kaunan, no? Yvonne Kaunan po regarding ang sitwasyon ng mga overseas Filipino workers po. Because when we talk about itong conflict ngayon po, ang talaga dito po, apektado talaga po, no? Ang mga overseas Filipino workers natin, because we have a lot of Filipino workers in the Middle East po. That also include even in Iran, even in Israel po. And these are our modern heroes po, and we have to protect them po and give the necessary help that they need in this very difficult time. Hindi lang po, not only ang mga Filipinos o overseas Filipinos who are now abroad in these affected areas, but also the Filipinos who are still in Manila or in the Philippines on the way back to the work dyan po sa Middle East. But unfortunately, the flights were canceled. Flights were asked to return back to the Philippines, and many more overseas Filipino workers scheduled, not maybe this week, but next week po, to go back after holidays, go back to their employers. But because of this thing po, anong latest, anong sitwasyon ng mga affected Filipinos, both in the countries have been affected now, and those who are still on holiday sa Pilipinas and about, they already have the tickets to return back to their employers in Saudi Arabia po. So later on, I'm going to share with you po the interview of Ted Filon sa Undersecretary ng Pilipinas po, no? Si Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne Kaunan. Anyway, in the meantime, let me share with you po ang mensahe ni Vice President Inday Sara Duterte regarding itong conflict ngayon po dyan sa Pilipinas, dyan po sa conflict areas po, no? Conflict areas sa Iran po, and nearby areas affected by, sabihin natin, itong gera po. Nandito ang mensahe ni Inday Sara Duterte.
Sa inyong mga kababayan, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dahil sa kamakailang paglala ng tensyon at labanan sa ilang bahagi ng Gitnang Silangan, iniikayat ang lahat ng Filipino na kasalukuyang naninirahan o naglalakbay sa rehiyong ito na manigurado sa pag-iingat at pagsagawa ng mga kinakailangang hakbang upang mapangalagaan ang inyong kaligtasan. Iwasan ang mga lugar na may nagaganap na operasyong militar o malaking pagtitipon ng publiko. Mahigpit na subaybayan ang mga opisyal na abiso at paalala mula sa mga lokal na otoridad ng bansang inyong kinaroroonan at ng kanilang Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Maging mapagmatyan sa mga balita mula sa mapagkakatiwalaang organisasyon ng media. Panatilihin ang regular na komunikasyon sa inyong pamilya, mga mahal sa buhay, at mga pinagkakatiwalaang kaibigan tungkol sa inyong kinaroroonan at kalagayan. Paniguraduhin na hawak ninyo ang emergency numbers ng ating Departments of Foreign Affairs at lokal na otoridad ng inyong bansa. Siguraduhin valid at hawak ang inyong mga dokumento at pasaporte. Kung lalo pang lumala ang sitwasyon sa seguridad, Maging handa na baguhin ang inyong mga plano anumang oras kung kinakailangan. Gayun din, kung kinakailangan, ay lumapit sa ating mga embassy upang mabigyan ng tamang payo sa pinakaligtas na paraan sa pag-uwi ng Pilipinas. Sa panahong ito, nang walang katiyakan, ang inyong kaligtasan ang pinakamahalaga. Naway patnubayan at ingatan kayong lahat ng may kapal. At ipagdasal natin ang kapayapaan, pagkakaisa at kaligtasan ng lahat ng tao sa Middle East. Shukran.
Okay, yan po ang mensahe ni Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Malungkot talaga tayo po, no? Namatay na isang kababayan natin dyan po sa Israel dahil dyan po sa bomba na yan po. Sana lang po we will not hear reports na dagdag ang casualties ng mga Filipinos po sa ongoing conflict dyan po sa between Iran, America, and Israel. Malungkot na malungkot tayo po. But anyway, itong sitwasyon ngayon po, ongoing war, is it history making ba ito sa Iran? And ano ba ang sitwasyon talaga ngayon sa conflict area? Let me share with you a report, a foreign report po, no? Foreign report ito po regarding ang sitwasyon sa sa gera po, no? Hold on po. Let me share with you itong video clip and please listen, no? Maganda ito po, for you to get that to have that information po is good, no? Para sa ating lahat. Let's watch and listen to this.
Of Iran's Supreme. This is the first time in history that more than 300 warplanes have been used to eliminate a single leader. But how did Iran's capital, Tehran, which is highly defended by its defense systems, become vulnerable to this attack? Israel deploys more than 200 fighter jets for its largest physical military operation to date. Simultaneously, the U.S. deploys dozens of Tomahawk cruise missiles and HIMARS launchers from its warships. More than 500 military installations in Iran are targeted. Along with Israel's 200 warplanes, the U.S. also deploys 125 of its own warplanes, including F-35s and F-22 Raptors. The attack was carried out by Israeli F-35s and U.S. F-22 Raptors, which first jammed Iran's radar systems. This attack occurred while a heated session was underway in the office of Iran's supreme leader. Now, it's certain that Mossad's agents were present on the ground at that time. They confirmed that Ayatollah Ali was in his office and that the strike should be launched. What's mind-boggling is that in just 24 hours, the U.S. and Israel used more than 1,200 bombs and missiles on Iran.
Grabe no po. What happened? Anyway, during this last Saturday yan po and kahapon po, no, nag-intense ang bombing ng Israel and US dyan po sa Iran. And because of the intense bombing sa Iran po, na-confirm na namatay si Ayatollah Ali, ang supreme leader ng Iran po. So, paano kaya na ang mga tao, mga Iranians lang po? It was a mixed reaction. Some people were happy that finally ang supreme leader nila po namatay na po or na neutralized na po dahil sa bombing. But others nagalit talaga po and pledge, no? And pledge that the death of the leader, they are going to revenge po, no? May revenge and revenge in terms of they will strike heavily din po in terms of bombings sa enemies nila po, ang US at saka ang Israel. Ibig sabihin, targeted areas, Israel, and ang mga bases ng US, military bases, dyan po, hindi lang sa kasi they cannot reach as far as US territory, but lahat yun po sa Middle East po, kagaya ang Jordan, ang Qatar, ang Bahrain, ang Dubai, no? Na mayroon mga military bases po. Unfortunately po, may mga innocente citizens, civilians, innocent lives, nadamay po. Nadamay. Yon ang problema sa gera po. Kung may gera sana po, hindi madamay mga civilian, maganda yan po. No? But itong gera po, mahirap po. No? And not only that, we lost precious lives, but also damage talaga po sa properties po. Buildings ng mga targeted areas. And how to rebuild it po, it will take years. It will take a lot of money, no? To rebuild itong mga infrastructures being sabihin natin destroyed by bombs, no? By bombs. So anyway, nandito, let me share with you po muna ang some reactions, report ito po from the national media, ang reaction ng mga locals when it comes to the death of the supreme leader of Iran. Supreme leader of Iran, and no other than I'm referring to Ayatollah Ali Khomeini. Khomeini, yeah? So, nandito po, let's watch and listen to this video clip. Asan na po? Hold on, ha? Hold on po.
Iran following the announcement of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah.
Hold on.
Iran follow.
Okay.
Iran.
Alright, nandito po. Sandali lang. Alright, let's watch and listen to this report from Fox News. Hold on, sandali lang po. Okay. Alright.
Following the announcement of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, there were spontaneous outbursts of celebration on the one hand, but also some crowds chanting today in downtown Tehran, "Death to America." Not clear if these were spontaneous or organized protests, but you can assume that the remnants of the regime and the IRGC will want to present a united front suggesting that the regime will survive. The man to watch is Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He just gave an interview in which he described the killing of Ali Khamenei as extremely painful, threatening revenge, quote, "The United States and the Zionists have burned the heart of the Iranian people, and we will burn their hearts." Meantime, Iran managed to fire more than 300 missiles at the UAE, where the U.S. has a military base at Al-Dhafra, about the same number as it fired toward Israel. Actually, about 100 ballistic missiles were fired toward Israel yesterday, according to the IDF. So this was actually more missiles fired at UAE. Iran has expanded its response, even firing missiles at Oman, which tried to negotiate that last-minute nuclear deal and avoid war. Qatar received about 65 Iranian missiles since yesterday, and Bahrain approximately 35. And explosions have been heard in eastern Riyadh, Saudi Arabia today. Israel, meantime, has increased its airstrikes and says it will now target Iran's nuclear facilities, and just moments ago hit the headquarters of the IRGC and barracks in Tehran. That is where the massacre of last month's Iranian protesters was organized and carried out. Smoke has been seen rising from near Iran's state broadcasting facility in Tehran. And in terms of the U.S. operation yesterday, the U.S. military, we learned, carried out 900 strikes in 12 hours. 10 to 15 senior leaders of the Iranian government and military were killed in that Israeli strike on Ali Khamenei's compound. Multiple sources tell me that the start of the operation, the joint operation, had to be moved up based on intelligence and this target of opportunity, a meeting at Khamenei's compound. Quote, "There was a deliberate decision to accelerate the timeline. That is why the U.S. and Israel took the unusual decision to strike during the daytime to achieve the element of surprise."
Alright, yun po. No, narinig natin ang report coming from Fox News. Imagine na 900 strikes, no? Nagawa ang America and Israel dyan po sa Iran last Saturday and Sunday. And in retaliation, Iran also released some 300 missiles po sa mga US bases dyan po sa Middle East, including ang Israel areas, no? Targets nila. So yon ang what is happening dyan sa Pilipinas or dyan po sa Iran. And at the same time now, I also want to share another video clip para sa ating lahat po mga viewers natin, coming from itong report galing sa Fox News po. So let's watch and listen to this report po. Sandali.
Very remarkable.
Alright. Sandali. Nandito and let's watch and listen to this. Okay.
But also a complicated picture emerging this morning. The Iranian leadership that did survive, and there are a few leaders that did survive, the president as well as Ali Larijani, who's very powerful in Iran, have threatened the U.S. and threatened to attack 27 U.S. bases across the Middle East, and we've been seeing a lot of those missiles flying into neighboring countries. A mob also tried to storm the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, and Pakistani security forces used batons to push back an angry crowd threatening the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan. Both Iraq and Pakistan, of course, have large Shia Muslim populations. And British Defense Secretary John Healey said 2 missiles had been fired towards Cyprus, where the British Army has service members stationed. In Tehran, following the announcement of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, there were spontaneous outbursts of celebration on the one hand, but also some crowds chanting today in downtown Tehran, "Death to America." Not clear if these were spontaneous or organized protests, but you can assume that the remnants of the regime and the IRGC will want to present a united front suggesting that the regime will survive. The man to watch is Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He just gave an interview in which he described the killing of Ali Khamenei as extremely painful, threatening revenge. Quote, "The United States and the Zionists have burned the heart of the Iranian people, and we will burn their hearts." Meantime, Iran managed to fire more than 300 missiles at the UAE, where the U.S. has a military base, at Al Dhafra, about the same number as it fired toward Israel. Actually, about 100 ballistic missiles were fired toward Israel yesterday, according to the IDF. So this was actually more missiles fired at UAE. Iran has expanded its response, even firing missiles at Oman, which tried to negotiate that last-minute nuclear deal and avoid war. Qatar received about 65 Iranian missiles since yesterday, and Bahrain approximately 35. And explosions have been heard in eastern Riyadh, Saudi Arabia today. Israel, meantime, has increased its airstrikes and says it will now target Iran's nuclear facilities. And just moments ago, hit the headquarters of the IRGC and barracks in Tehran. That is where the massacre of last month's Iranian protesters was organized and carried out. Smoke has been seen rising from near Iran's state broadcasting facility in Tehran. And in terms of the U.S. operation yesterday, the U.S. military, we learned, carried out 900 strikes in 12 hours. 10 to 15 senior leaders of the Iranian government and military were killed in that Israeli strike on Ali Khamenei's compound. Multiple sources tell me that the start of the operation, the joint operation, had to be moved up based on intelligence and this target of opportunity, a meeting at Khamenei's compound. Quote, "There was a deliberate decision to accelerate the timeline. That is why the U.S. and Israel took the unusual decision to strike during the daytime to achieve the element of surprise."
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang Fox report po, no? And yun, grabe, no? Grabe talaga what is happening dyan po, and ongoing pa itong operation. The code name of the operation was is Epic Fury po, no? Epic Fury is a combined efforts made by America and Israel against Iran po, no? Ang Iran, dahil po sa problema na yon, nuclear war program ng Iran, na ayaw talaga ang Amerika sa Israel that they will have a nuclear, or they will be in possession or capable of having a nuclear weapon, no? Weapon po, because US believes that it will do more harm in the future po. Hindi lang sa US, but the entire world po. So, the US has also identified and repeatedly accused Iran as ito na po ang country who is organizing mga terrorist groups, no? Terrorist groups especially to kill America, to kill Americans, to kill innocent people po. Kaya nga, as the world policeman, ang Amerika po, he wants that everything will be in order sa mundo na ito po para walang gulo-gulo. Especially, they do not allow itong producing nuclear sabihin natin weapon po, no? So nakita natin ang China is not participating or kalma lang po ang China, and Russia also is not interfering in this sabihin natin na conflict, in this conflict. So tingnan natin, but 100% the effect of this sabihin natin gulo na ito po, conflict, no? Ang kawawa dyan po, mga innocent lives, mga tao po, no? Who will be affected by the war. And at the same time po, like the Philippines, maliit na country na tayo po, no? And maraming tayong problema. Apektado, 100%, we will be affected. Hindi lang po ang mga like Japan, China, no? India, no? Philippines will also be or is now affected po. Especially na nag-umpisa na itong gulo po, do not forget po. Expect tayo po ang prices of oil will again increase, no? Increase po. Dahil itong problema sa Iran. You just remember, ang Iran is supplying of oil and gas po sa maraming mga countries sa mundo po. No? 100% we will be affected. And kung tumaas naman ang presyo ng gasolina natin po, ibig sabihin, taas din ang presyo ng mga essential goods natin sa Pilipinas po. And everything will go up, no? And it will really affect ang buhay ng mga Filipinos po. Hindi lang mga Filipinos, but other countries po, no? Including Japan, including China. So anyway, the first thing that will be affected dito sa conflict po ang mga overseas Filipino workers, overseas Filipino workers po, who are now in the Middle East. Nasa Iran sila po, nasa Israel sila po, and dyan sila po sa Middle East working as overseas Filipino workers. Apektado na talaga po sila, no? In terms of ang income nila, no? In terms ng buhay nila po. So, what do you think, ang preparasyon ng gobyerno natin, ang Pilipinas po? Nandito po ang interview ni Ted Filon this morning sa programa niya po, and I will share with you this video clip. Thank you very much to Ted Filon po sa GMA5 po ito. No? Thank you very much, and it's a good information po that we can also pass to our kababayan. Hindi lang po dyan po sa Pilipinas, but also dito sa Malaysia at sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo. So, nandito po ang interview ni Ted Filon kay Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne Kaunan. Kaunan po. Let's watch and listen to this interview. Interview po. Hold on, and saan na yun? Alright, nandito po.
Patricia.
Okay, hold on. Let's watch and listen to this. Listen carefully po, kasi importante itong mga statement made by our Undersecretary, si Patricia Yvonne Kaunan.
Siya, Yvonne B.Y. Kaunan ng OWA. Magandang umaga po, ma'am.
Magandang umaga po, Manong Ted. Magandang umaga po,
DJ Chacha.
Okay,
Hello
ma'am.
po sa inyo lahat.
Salamat na marami sa panahon. Ma'am, amin lang po muna naklaruhin. Sa ngayon po, ano po ang actual na sitwasyon doon po sa Israel kung saan na po meron pong namatay ng manggagawang Pilipina at ano po ang ginagawa ng pamahalaan doon to protect our workers, ma'am?
Manong Ted, ongoing pa rin. Of course, ongoing yung missile attack. At sa ngayon po, in coordination at lagi po tayong in communication with the Filipino communities po doon. So, nagkakaroon din po ng konfirmasyon kung meron po tayong na-apekto ang mga kababayan. Ano po ito, we're operating under a one-country team approach. Ating embahada, si Ambassador Aileen po, ay nasa lead po nito at katuwang po ang Department of Migrant Workers at ang OWA. So ongoing po ito lahat. Nakakatanggap na po kami, Manong Ted, ng mga request for repatriation. Pero dahil po ongoing pa yung atake, nasabi namin na babalikan namin sila for the arrangement so sa eventual nilang repatriation pabalik sa ating bansa.
Opo. Ma'am, if you recall, di ho ba, no, nung nagkaroon din po ng problema dito po sa Israel, and of course, dahil kanilang bakbakan din po with Lebanon, itong mga grupo din po ng Hamas. Nagkaroon na po dati yan ng mga request for repatriation, pero kinalaunan po, marami nang umatras. No? Dito po sa pagkakataong ito, gano'n pa karami itong mga Pilipino po na nagpahagit na po sa inyo ng mensahe?
Sa ngayon po, sabihin ko po medyo mababa pa yung numero. Tama po kayo, nung Hunyo po, last year, so umpisa medyo madami po, no, yung nag-express ng intention to repatriate. Pero, isa-isa ho namin na, hindi isa-isa namin kausapin. Yung mga po, meron na kami mga ticket arrangement, pero nung na-issue na ticket, pero umaatras po sila. Lalo na pag umaayos na yung sitwasyon. So, makahanda na rin po yung dedicated teams natin para po i-handle yan at makausap yung ating mga kababayan. Sa ngayon po, kasi yung sa count namin before mga midnight today ay kanina, wala pa pong mga, I would say wala pa po sa PSA yung talaga po nag-express ng intention na bumalik.
Opo.
Ang nangyari po sa kanila, ang flight po nila Manila to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Dubai, Manong Ted. At kagabi po, ang ating pong migrant workers office, ang ating labor attaché, Cesar Chavez, Welfare Officer Mariluso Balinog. Nag-assist po sila sa airport, halos 132 po sa ating mga kababayan doon. Ang
Travel with peace of mind with our service guarantee.
from Hong Kong to Dubai or Hong Kong to Riyadh ay na-cancel na po yan. So ngayon po, ang ginawa natin ng DFWO at PCC, inayos po natin yung pagbalik nila ng Pilipinas. Kasi nga po, hindi rin makapigay ng definite time itong airline nila, which is Cathay Pacific, kung kailan sila mag-reopen ulit yung airport doon. Although, binigyan nila ng option po yung ating mga kababayan ng pre-booking hanggang Bayo po yata.
Okay. Sa Pilipinas, na mga papunta po ng gitnang silangan at yung galing ng gitnang silangan na pauwi ng Pilipinas, ano po ang sitwasyon at tulong na binibigay ng gobyerno?
Kahapon po, umikot po kami ni Secretary Hans sa ating pong airport, no? At doon po sa mismo nating OFW lounges sa Terminal CN1, meron po tayong na-assist na halos 400 po nating mga kababayan na naapektuhan po yung kanilang mga flights papuntang gitnang silangan. So ito po ang mga kababayan natin na galing Mindanao, Visayas at parte rin po ng Luzon at Metro Manila na dapat po papunta sa gitnang silangan para bumalik po o pumunta sa kanilang magiging trabaho doon. Ang nangyari po ay nagkaroon na ng anunsyo, aviso ang mga airlines na kansilado ang flight. Yung iba po Manong Ted, pa rin nagpapakasakali at hindi po sila, hindi po sila agad-agad humingi ng tulong sa UWA para sa temporary accommodation at pagtulong sa pagbalik nila sa kanilang mga probinsya. In other words, Manong Ted, yung iba ayaw pang umalis sa ating lounges at nag-aantay ng anunsyo. Yung iba naman po, dahil nagbigay na ng definite announcement yung mga airline, nagpa-assist na po sa UWA, so nag-provide po tayo ng temporary hotel accommodations at sinet na rin po or binook na natin yung kanilang mga tickets pabalik sa kanila.
Alright, dahil yun po, narinig natin ng interview And mayroon pa tayo, isa pa dito po, no? Continuation ng interview, and kailangan na kailangan, I believe, na importante ito po for us to know, especially ang mga relatives ng mga overseas Filipino workers natin apektado po, no? Let's watch and listen to this another video clip po. Sandali.
So,
Hold on, nandito, I'm alright, sandali po. Okay, let's watch and listen to this. Hold on po.
I would say that, parang Filipinos po in Iran.
Okay.
Halos 800 po. Halos 800.
So ito ho yung iba't iba na ang sitwasyon, ano ho, manggagawa, yung iba po ay nakapag-asawa na nalumpas doon. May tanong ka ba, Jack, please? Okay, go.
Yes po, Yusek, sa ngayon tama po ba nasa alert level 3 or voluntary repatriation po tayo dito sa ilang mga bansa na apektado nga po nitong nangyayaring gulo dyan sa Middle East? May possibility po ba na magdeklara ng alert level 4?
Ito pong pag-set ng alert level, of course, this is with the Department of Foreign Affairs. So, sa pag-uusap po namin sa kanila, talaga po nag-a-assess po sila based on sa conditions. So, sa ngayon po, wala pa po ganong anunsyo at hindi pa po yan na consider, I would say, kasi hindi pa po nila nasasabi sa amin yung alert level po.
Oo, doon po sa mga lugar kagaya ng Israel, Iran, Lebanon, Dubai, yung kung saan po maraming mga Pilipino, ano po exactly mga area yung pinaka-binabantayan natin ngayon? Halimbawa sa Dubai po mismo.
Sa Dubai, may mga reported, in fact, yung initial natin mga operations sa report, nung mga nagiging, I would say, mga bombing sinata. First, yung sa international airport, no? Meron tayong kababayan na yung certain gate na natamaan, yung kung saan siya nagtatrabaho, katabi po noon, Manong Ted, yung Chacha. So, meron din siya. Tapos may mga selected na mga hotels din na naapektuhan. But based sa report ng ating welfare officer, kanina lang, ay nagkakaupusan na rin Manong TJ Chacha ng hotel sa Dubai, no? Kasi marami sa atin din na pag our MWO, yung ating Migrant Workers Office, we have established na a help desk doon sa atin at marami tayong mga kababayan na humingi ng tulong ng temporary accommodation. So, napoprovide na natin siya lang, pero nagkakaubusan ng hotel accommodation dyan sa Dubai.
Opo, sa dami nga.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang interview between ang interview ni Ted Filon and DJ Shasha kay USEC or Undersecretary Patricia Yvonne kaunan ng migrant workers natin po, no? So, yan ang latest sa ano natin, sa narinig natin po, no, this morning. And ingat lang tayo po, especially yung mga Filipinos, overseas Filipino workers, nandiyan po sa mga affected areas po, no? Please keep safe, ingat lang kayo po. Pag may mga warning na po, incoming missiles po, punta na kayo po sa mga bomb shelters po. And ingat talaga po, ingat talaga. Worried din kami bilang isang Pilipino din, kababayan kayo, kababayan tayong lahat po. Worried kami sa inyo, no? Especially kami dito, mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, worried din kami. And to mga relatives and tayong lahat mga Filipinos, no? Na malayo sa conflict area, let's continue to pray, no? Let's continue to pray for the safety of our kababayan po dyan po sa areas na affected sa gera between America, Israel, and Iran. And of course, ang mga nearby areas na target ng Iran po, no? Kawawa ang mga innocent lives. Ingat tayo. Let's pray to God po para at least safe. Hindi lang kayo mga overseas Filipino workers dyan po sa areas, affected areas po, no? conflict areas, but tayong lahat po, mga Filipinos po, no? Tayong lahat mga Filipinos, worried din kami. So, siguro hanggang dito na lang muna ang programa natin na dito, Nick Talk The Real Talk with Nico for Monday morning, no? Monday morning, maaga tayo nag-umpisa po dahil I just want to, tayo sa news, regarding na mayroon na po isang Filipina caregiver at the age of 32 po, reportedly confirmed na po the first casualty on the part of the Filipinos po. Nangyari yan po sa Israel, sa Jerusalem ba yun, o sa Tel Aviv, wherein she was bringing ang pasyente niya po sa bomb shelter, hindi na naabot dyan sa lugar na yan po. She was hit by shrapnels ng missiles and she died. She died po. To the family of the victim, condolences po. Kanya, to the victim, may you rest in peace. And coming from me, my family, and the Filipino community dito po sa Malaysia. So mamaya po, I'm going to monitor also ang mga political issues natin dyan po sa Pilipinas because today po, ang House of Representatives Justice Committee will be discussing ang session nila po tungkol sa impeachment, for impeachment complaints against Inday Sara Duterte. Let's see po what will be the latest updates and I'll make sure I will monitor kung ano mga latest updates, mga importanteng issues po. I'll make sure that lahat ang mga followers ko po dito sa Nick Talk The Real Talk with Nico, you will be properly informed. Nandito ako po, ang Nick Talk The Real Talk with Nico sa YouTube, sa Facebook, at saka sa TikTok. And kung pwede lang po, huwag kayong magalit. Hindi lang ako sa kanya po kung pwede i-like, share, and follow itong programa natin. And leave me the rest now. I'll make sure that you will be properly informed tungkol sa mga updates natin sa Pilipinas. So, again, Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. And I'll see you in my next episode later po. Later. In the meantime, bye and I love you all. God bless.